everyone, and welcome back to Big OGGIE's world. So I'm in the kitchen and it's a beautiful day out, and I just fancied something that I really enjoy, but it's a pain, to be frank. So I absolutely love risotto, and one of the main reasons I love risotto is because many years ago I used to be a very large lady, and I had some surgery which enabled me to lose weight, but along with that came a lifetime, if you like, since of food intolerances and problems. And one of the main things that I struggle with is rice. But, turn that off a second, but I absolutely adore rice. Kind of by accident, we've worked out that I can eat risotto rice and I can eat pudding rice. So short grain rices seem to be okay. It's when you get up to the basmatis and the jasmine rices and that sort of thing that causes me a problem. So risottos are one of my favourite things because I can get my rice hit. The problem with a risotto, as all of you will know, and I've done several on the channel, is that with a risotto comes an awful lot of stirring, like 20 minutes or so of constantly stirring, and that, it's worth it, don't get me wrong, but it is a pain. So I am going to do a risotto that can be either baked in the oven or done in the slow cooker. Now, my second love beyond risotto is my slow cooker. If I can get away with a slow cooker meal, I am there, because it's minimum effort, maximum bang, and I love it. So yesterday I did a roast chicken dinner, and left over from that is just these bits and pieces. So there's about 200 grams of leftover chicken. You can use any leftover meat that you have, whether you've done a roast or whether you've just done some bacon or whatever you have, you can use in this recipe. It's a generic recipe, I guess you could say. So I'm going to do it in my slow cooker, and because I'm going to do it in my slow cooker, it kind of all comes together at the same time, okay? If you don't want to do it in the slow cooker, you need to preheat your oven to 180 degrees, fan, 200 if you don't have a fan, and I need to check on the gas. I thought I had it written down, but I don't, sorry about that, fan. And you need like an oven-proof casserole, because what we're gonna do is the same thing that you always do when you start a risotto. So you are going to take some butter. I've got about 35 grams of butter here, which you're going to melt, and we're going to fry a medium onion, or not fry it as in it doesn't need to be brown, but we're going to soften then a medium onion. Okay, my butter's hot, in goes my onion. Now the thing with the risotto is you do not want big chunks, so try and finely chop your onion. I mean, your meat's okay obviously, but you really don't want big chunks of onion. So whilst that is frying, if you were going to do this in your oven, you would be doing this now in a casserole dish that you could put onto your hob. You do exactly the same. You would melt down your butter and start frying off your onion, and then once the onion has fried down a little bit, you're going to add your rice and cover the rice in the buttery oniony mix, which is exactly what we're going to do with the slow cooker as well. And there becomes the little bit of difference, because if you're then going to do it in the oven, you need to put in your liquid with your rice and bubble it away for a few minutes. Now, if you're going to do it in the slow cooker, you don't need to do that. Literally, what we're going to do for the slow cooker is soften our onion, put in our rice, give it a few minutes to start absorbing the butter and things, and then we're literally going to put everything, apart from the Parmesan for the end, into the slow cooker, and we're going to cook it on low for about 2 hours. Now during that 2 hours, we will give it a stir occasionally, but remember, when you open a slow cooker, every time you open it, you are letting out heat and you're adding your cooking time. So you're going to do a stir but you're going to do it very quickly. The other thing I would say is if you're going to use a slow cooker like me, if you are using leftover chicken, do not chop it finely because it will break up and you will not see any meat in your risotto. You'll taste it, but you won't see it. So leave some decent sized pieces because it will break down in the slow cooker. So my onions are nicely softening now, and I'm going to put in my risotto rice. This is arborio. There are several different types. You just get whichever one you prefer, but make sure it is risotto rice, not a pudding rice, okay? So in goes 300 grams of risotto rice. And we're going to stir that around so that it gets covered in the buttery oniony mix. So as always with the risotto, don't have your pan too high because you do not want to colour any of this. So take your slow cooker, mine's been preheating, and into the slow cooker goes the onion and rice mix. Then goes in your leftover meat, whatever you're using. Obviously I'm using chicken. Chicken and bacon would have been nice, but I had enough just chicken on its own. Then 100 grams of frozen peas. You can add them near the end if you prefer with the peas, but I don't mind them going in. And then we're going to add 750 mils of chicken stock. And 125 mils of white wine. Now if you don't want to use white wine, just add up on your stock. It's absolutely fine. Give that a stir around to get it all mixed. That's it. Lid on, low for about 2 hours. Occasionally, as I said, do give it a little bit of a stir, but be fast, okay? So that is as simple as this risotto gets, and that for me gives it a massive thumbs up. Now, I'll move this out of the way and then I'll just run through what to do if you're going to use the oven. So, if you're going to do it in the oven, as I said, preheat your oven, fry off your onion exactly the same, fry off your rice for a few minutes like we just did, and then you're going to add your liquids. So you add in the wine, and the stock. You give that a stir around and you let it bubble for a few minutes. 3 to 4 minutes is going to be ample, okay? Once you've done that, you then can add your chicken and your peas if you want. If you don't, like if you really want to leave your peas right to the end, you can do that. It's entirely up to you. I like to put my peas in, but you do what you want to do. And then literally the lid goes on and it goes into your oven. Now in the oven, it's gonna take about 25 to 35 minutes. But every 5 to 10 minutes whilst it's in the oven, you're gonna have to take it out and stir it, because what you don't want is the bottom to catch. So although you can do it in the oven and it is a baked risotto at that point, it still needs attention. It doesn't need as much attention as if you were cooking a risotto on a hob, but you do still need to be present and you do still need to keep an eye on your time and keep stirring it round to make sure it doesn't catch. Whichever way it goes, when we're ready to serve, at the very end, you can stir a knob of butter through if that's what you like to do, and then add your Parmesan. If you don't want to add more butter, that's absolutely fine. Just stir your Parmesan through and you're good to go and ready to serve. Now, to me, that's a very cheap leftover meal that takes little effort and will feed a family of 4 easily. So, John will put the ingredients down below as always. I will put a picture of the completed dish at the end as always again. If you've liked this, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, please do so. It really does help us. And we will see you all again really soon on Big Oggie's World. Bye for now.